peace may come with a lot of things. When you start healing, things get revealed that you may not be directly aware of at first, but if you keep going, you'll receive the blessing of a healed being, a sober mind, a cleansed spirit and soul and body and consciousness. So when we listen to the truth, everything gets purified. But sometimes some of the stuff that you may have forgotten that you did or someone did, or thoughts that you have, may come to the surface and you may feel that's a bit yucky or whatever. Just be aware that anything that's happening like that, like a memory or like a thought or anything like that, it has no reality and it has no basis. Because the consciousness came on you, you didn't come on the consciousness. So just be aware that whatever the consciousness is showing you, it's all just a journey that is being written in God's book, essentially. And it isn't important for us to understand it, because really, beyond all of that, you are that being that's writing the book and observing the book and beyond the book entirely. So just remember that anything that you feel might manifest or project into reality, because you're being purified by the truth, isn't real. You can't manifest something if it's not got a basis of love. There's the teaching of the law of attraction, which is all about love. If you love something, not just thinking, oh, I love this, but if you actually love something, which means accepting who you are as love and being aware that love of what it is that you like to experience, you would. But you can't love anything evil or anything that you don't love, or a negative experience, because that will never happen. Obviously, negative experience appear to happen in this world when you're healing and when before you're healing, but it's all just an illusion, truly. If you can stand in your truth and stand being aware and overcome the world, Jesus came to teach us to overcome the world as well as save sinners and resurrect and show us that sin had no power and stuff like that. But he came to teach us how to overcome the world just like he did. So when you've overcome the world, another word could be self-realization or enlightenment or ascension or something like that. It doesn't happen overnight, but when you keep dedicating yourself to what's true and not just spiritual nonsense, because some people will say things that they don't quite understand because it's popular or they believe it to be true, but even belief to a certain extent is illusion. Just because you've read something or heard it before doesn't always make it true. That's why you've got to be discerning, discriminative with what you listen to or read or embrace in any way. So when you're being truly healed and purified, sometimes illness itself can arise and you may have to go through a certain period of sickness to be healed and cleansed, to sort of, because you're bringing stuff that's in your lower chakras to the higher chakras, which basically means like it's rising through the body essentially, from the ground to the head, which can result in like head colds and coughing and stuff like that. But that happens sometimes, doesn't always happen. Like when I started reading The Ultimate Medicine, which is a transcribed which was a bunch of transcribed talks from Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. When I was absorbing that truth and reading that, I had a bit of a cold for a week and a half, like at the start of reading it. But afterwards I felt better than ever before, because my whole system was all cleansed and stuff. But I carried on reading, and it was like the ultimate medicine. So the Guru and God's teachings and the angels' teaching, the good angels' teachings, are basically medicine for all the conditioning and all the tangled roots and thorns and thistles and stuff that appear to be there, but you're beyond all of it anyway. But whilst we have a body, it might as well do the best you can for the body, because it's still a temple for you, where the Holy Spirit, the highest spirit of all of us, essentially, is. So when you speak your truth, you're also creating more truth to be experienced as well. So when you speak your truth, you experience the truth. When you absorb the truth, you experience the truth. And the truth will set you free. The truth isn't anything evil or bad, like you've been sinning for so long, God's gonna punish you, sort of thing. Like, no, it's not about that. That's why Jesus resurrected, to show us that they had no power. Because if he became sin for everyone, as they say, and then died because of it, and then resurrected, it shows that it had no power. That's also a teaching from Michael Medad, who taught us a lot about stuff like that. He's a great spiritual teacher. So yeah, just stay to the truth. Believe in yourself as well. Because in the highest sense, God and you are no different. It's only because you're here physically and in a body that you gotta rely on God. But once you get to heaven, you'll see that place was prepared for you the whole time. Then a place is being prepared here on earth, so you might as well live it, knowing the truth in heaven, and alleviate the suffering. But remember, stay sober in the mind. It's alright to have a bit of a drink or a smoke and stuff like that, but I recommend keeping everything pure in there. You don't want something that would damage yourself. But even if you did, you'd still be healed eventually. But take it from me, trust me, you don't want to, like, do drugs or do drugs, like extreme drugs to enlighten yourself. You don't need to. It's much more easier just to listen to a guru or a teacher that you resonate with. It might be a bit of a slower process, but when you're on those sort of drugs, it's an illusion of enlightenment and stuff like that. It's not actually real. When you're sober in your mind, it's a whole lot different to when you're not sober in your mind. There's a false reality. I mean, reality in itself is all illusionary anyway, but to add another layer onto the illusion is not good, because you'd have to bring it back to reality and then back into your being again. But that's what the truth is about. It's all about being aware and loving yourself enough to know that you don't need to appease to someone's expectations or be enlightened just so you can be appeased and be applauded in other people's eyes, so you can be cooler or have more popularity or that people see you normally or stuff like that. You can just be yourself and everything will be alright. So listen to the truth and stay in peace. Peace.